Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode corporate filings. Today we're diving into a report from Loop Media, and let me tell you, it sounds like they're singing the blues instead of their usual tunes. This report hints at some financial dramas, so stick around to find out what's going on. If you find yourself appreciating simple insights from complex reports, consider subscribing. We also have a Discord community linked down below in the description. Okay, so what's the story? It seems Loop Media is dealing with some debt problems. They've received notices of default, which means they didn't pay back some loans when they were supposed to. This could have some really significant consequences for them. One of these problems involves a line of credit they got back in May of 2023. Basically, they borrowed money and they promised to pay it back within 2 years by May 2025. They also gave the lenders a security interest, meaning that the lenders could claim things like their equipment, products, any of the company's possessions they could sell. If Loop Media didn't pay Cluve when the date to pay it back came around, Loop Media didn't have the money. The total amount owed to 3 lenders at this point was $8 at this point, was $89,000. As a result, one of the lenders sent them a notice. This notice said, hey, you are late on your payment, essentially, and they gave them a deadline of 10 days to pay everything, including the main amount, which was $300,000, and the interest. If Loop Media doesn't pay, the lender could take legal action, which could be quite difficult for Loop Media. Another thing to remember is that according to the May 2023 agreement, if this kind of event happens and they fail to pay, the interest rate they owe on the money goes up quite a bit. It goes up so much to the point that they might not be worth the money to keep owing it. So if Loop Media cannot meet the demands in the notice they got, there is no guarantee that the lender, called Lender No. 1, won't take them to court. Next up, we have a convertible note worth $2 million from the Bellino Trust. This agreement was a note issued in October 2024. To that end, a convertible note is really just a fancy term for a loan that can be turned into stock in the company instead of being paid back in cash. In this case, this note accrues interest at a very high rate. 30% per year, so it gets very expensive fast. The clock is ticking to make a decision. Because the company missed a payment in June, the Bellino Trust said they are going to start the necessary actions to get all the money back. This is called accelerating repayment. Like the previous lender, the Bellino Trust might decide to seek legal actions if the company doesn't pay the money back. Finally, we have some notes from 1800 Diagonal Lending. There are actually 4 different agreements here, all involving loans to Loop Media. The first note is the 1800 Diagonal $38,000 promissory note, which really just means a regular agreement to borrow money. Then there's the 1800 Diagonal $49,200 bridge note, which is a short-term loan that can fill the gap between longer rounds of funding. We also have the 1800 Diagonal $31,200 note. And finally, the 1800 Diagonal $96,000 bridge note. Loop Media failed to make payments of about $79,000 due in mid-June. As a result, 1800 Diagonal Lender sent a notice and has demanded even more money because Loop is considered in default. Because of the default, the 1800 Diagonal Lender wants to be paid 150% of the outstanding principal amount, which comes out to $286,326 with interest on top of the already overpriced multiplier. Luckily, Loop started converting some loans into stocks, but that does not make up for much. As of the conversions, $36,310 remains due under the 1800 Diagonal 13.8 toll like all the other lenders. 1800 Diagonal might want to enforce their rights under the agreement. This could potentially mean they convert more debt into shares and then sell them to the public. Alright, that's the breakdown of Loop Media's current financial bind. Considering these debts, missed payments, and default notices, Loop Media is facing a significant challenge. They need to either find a way to generate more revenue quickly or restructure their debt to avoid further legal action from their lenders. The high interest rates on some of these notes are particularly concerning as they can quickly eat into the company's cash flow. So Loop Media's management team needs to act decisively to reassure investors and find a sustainable financial path forward. Failure to do so could lead to even more difficulty down the road. What do you think about Loop Media's chances of turning things around? Are they a good turnaround opportunity, or are they in too much trouble? Leave your thoughts down in the comments and make sure to subscribe and leave a like for more breakdowns of company financials. If finding simple explanations to complex reports is interesting to you, check out our Discord community, where we have many enthusiasts and experts alike discussing such things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.